77 in my pocket. 27.5 outside. That's cold. Oh. My dog's alive. It's time to get some coffee going. Yeah. Hello guys, this is Yankee Prepper, and today I'll be doing another video in the current series that I have going on, how to pack, how I pack to go into the wilderness. Just as a refresher, in my last vid I went over my foundational gear, 2 items, and these things are equally as important. From here I can build whatever pack I need for whatever environment. First and foremost, I guess, would be the 10 to 15 inch bush blade. This is the perfect size, a well-built, good quality bush blade, 10 to 15 inches. And the reason why it is the perfect tool to take in, it blows everything else away, is because it can handle the most amount of tasks on the spectrum of things that you'll need it to do. Secondly, but equally as important, is fire. I put fire throughout my pack, but I keep a single bag in a waterproof bag, 3 ways to make fire. And with these 2 things, I can build whatever pack I need to go into whatever environment I need to. Okay, the rest of it I'm going to build around this particular trip in this particular area during this particular time of year. I'll start with a place where I think most people make a lot of mistake, and that's with clothes. Now, of course, this will vary with the environment you're going into, but the BWCA is a pretty tricky environment. Weather can change quick, and it looks like it's going to start out in the 70s, and by the time I come out of there, it actually could be snowing. So I need a lot of variance and adaptability with my clothes, and I'm good at that. And I'm going to go into that later, but right now I can get away with going on this particular trip at this particular time of year with about a 5-pound clothes pack. That gives me an extra pair of pants, a couple extra shirts, one being a light one being more of a heavy layer, and then I've got a pair of socks as well. Now, this is the same pack that I would take whether I'm going for 5 days in this trip or whether I'm going for weeks. If things get dirty, I wash what I need to, dry it out, and keep rotating it. But you really only need 1 change of clothes on most trips. One other thing I want to mention is the bag that I put my clothes in. I don't put my clothes in a compression bag. I used to use compression bags a lot. But these Sea to Summit bags, they're made of kind of a nylon material. They are totally waterproof. And I want that, even though this is going to be inside of a waterproof bag, I want that extra peace of mind of knowing that my clothes are always going to be dry. Even if I get into an accident, topple a canoe, or rip a bag or something, these things are kept by themselves in a waterproof bag. And talking about compression bags, the Sea to Summit is not a true compression bag, but if you do compress everything down and tighten this up, it will stay pretty compressed for a few hours. Long enough, at least, for you to put it inside your bag and put everything on top of it to keep it compressed. That way you can still save your space and volume. You know, they're watertight, but they're not airtight. Eventually they will puff out. But it works well just for compressing it down at first, sticking it in your bag, and then sticking everything on top of it. It'll stay compressed, and that way you still save your space. Okay, again, I looked ahead, seeing what the temperature is going to be like, and I need a bag, a sleeping bag system, that is going to give me a lot of ability to adapt to the environment. And the best bag that I have in my stock of sleeping bags is my Extreme Cold Weather System bag from the military. I've done a review about this if you guys want to go back and see my review on it. It's not going to be cold enough that I need my super warm down bag, so I'm going to take this one. And while it's warm, I can just use 1 bag. It's a 2-bag system. I can use 1 bag if it's warm, and when it starts to get cold, then I can start put the layers on. I can save a pound off this bag if I get rid of this compression bag that it comes with. I don't need that. I can stick this bag in the bottom of my sea bag, the main one, and just compress it down. That way I can save the weight of the compression bag itself. Bag system with the 2 bags and the Gore-Tex outer shell is 5 pounds. I could probably save a pound if I wanted to spend $100 or $200 more, let's say on a more expensive bag. But to me, it doesn't seem like it's worth it. 5 pounds is definitely a respectable weight, and this is a super good bag, and I don't have to pay the big bucks, you know, for these, I don't know, the fancy smancy brand name ones. I can just buy a good military bag, and that's where the military surplus really comes in handy. In fact, the military stuff, I find, you know, you might have to put on or carry a little more weight, not that much. I mean, these bags, 5 pounds is pretty light, but it's so well built, it's going to last you a very long time. And that's what I call just getting, you know, the best bang for your buck. This is a good bag system if it's not super, super cold out. And I'm talking, you know, negative 20s and 30s. I'm also going to bring a Sea to Summit little luxury pillow. It's only a couple ounces. It puffs up on its own once you let it out of its bag, and it compresses down to almost nothing inside of its own bag structure. I really like this, and it just adds to the overall comfort of my trip. Again, I want to sleep well so I can keep my strength up and my health when I'm out there. I'm not trying to beat myself up. And last but not least is my Clark Jungle Hammock, model NX250. I consider this to be the best and best built hammock in the world. Now, I know there's probably some Hennessy guys out there right now throwing a fit and crying that I said that. But remember, this is my video, not yours. So this is what I prefer. Now, it just so happens that not only does Yankee Prepper prefer this, but the United States Search and Rescue and Special Operations Group consider this to be the best hammock in the world as well. Built in Utah by Americans for Americans. This is a great hammock, and they tout it as being the only 4-season hammock in the world, and I think they're pretty right on there. It'll get you through even down to 20 degrees. Will it handle Minnesota winters? No. It's not magic. It's not going to make it when it gets into the negatives or when it gets down below zero. I mean, I think it's comfortable to about 20 degrees personally. That may vary from person to person as well. But overall, it does have some great features. I will go over this in later vids, but this is what I chose for this trip. The Clark NX250 hammock. So there's half the weight of my pack. That is 15 pounds. My hammock system is 5 pounds. That comes with the sill nylon tarp as well, that hammock system. Without the tarp that covers this hammock, you can get away with 3 pounds. But to me, the tarp is the most important piece of equipment that you have. That's my clothes, 5 pounds, and that's my sleep system. My sleep bag system is another 5 pounds, including the pillow. 15 pounds in my pack, bam. Now, I could have saved weight here. There are variances depending on the time of the year. I definitely could have even went lighter with the hammock and tarp system. I could have got a solo tent, been cramped in a small ground solo tent, but I wouldn't have been as comfortable. In that solo tent. I could have definitely, like I said, I could have saved some weight by spending more money, to save another pound. I could have done without a warmer sleeping bag than I have with the adaptability, but I might have been uncomfortable. I could have done without a tent at all. A lot of times, the only reason I carry a tent is just protection against bugs. And when it gets cold, you can just carry a tarp. A tarp, I could have trimmed it down. An 8x10 tarp is less than 2 pounds. So you can save weight here and there, but my point to this is I can spend 15 pounds of my weight allowance and be extremely comfortable, which leads to me being healthy and well rested on this trip, which is my goal. That'll help you not only have a better time, but it's going to keep you out in the wilderness a lot longer. That's what eventually does people in when they're out there, is they just get constantly wore down and they come back all beat up. That is not my goal here. Okay, let's move from the bedroom to the kitchen, shall we? This is my kitchen kit, and it weighs exactly 16 ounces, 1 pound. Now, I could go lighter than this. I could just break off a stick and gnaw the end to a point and then, stick it into a rat and roast it over a fire, and that would be super light. But luckily, I don't have to prove that I'm tough anymore. I already know I'm tough, okay? So I take what I need to make it comfortable. This is it. I bring a little sponge. This acts as a cleaning, of course, for my pots and pans. But also, your hands get so dirty out there, especially if you're handling animals or killing animals. It's really nice to be able to scrub your hands with it. I like taking one of these out. I carry one of these double-ended spoons and forks, and of course the small pocket knife that I have works as my knife. But this is pretty nice. It's got this, I don't know what kind of plastic it's made out of, but it can take a lot of heat. So I take that, and then we get to the main part of the kitchen. I've got my homemade cozies here. Got two pots packed up in here. I have the lightest salt and pepper shaker on the market right there. Just nice little comfort there. I carry a little bit of soap, both for my pots and pans and sometimes even for my dirty hands. And of course I got a little lighter stashed away in there. Got fire making everywhere. Got a little cup. Again, the cozy is inside of that. And then I got my big pot. And I just noticed my big pot was not washed out very well. It's still got some stuff in there. And that is beginning to smell a little. Sorry about that. We're going to have to get on to quality control somewhere to blame for that, I suppose. But anyway, that's my kitchen. Exactly 1 pound. Again, I could go lighter. I could do this. I could make a envelope cozy and just put the plastic food bags inside there, pour the hot water in there, and I wouldn't need as many pots or as many cozies. But this makes it nice. I can make my coffee, I can make my breakfast, and it's still only 1 pound for my main kitchen. These are titanium, by the way. Aluminum works well. It's light, but it dents up too easy. These are pretty hard to dent. I have not, beating the hell out of them. I haven't been able to do a lot of damage to them. Stainless steel I used to use, and it's just too heavy. It's not worth the weight. Titanium, if you can get it, is the best way to go. Okay, now we're going to choose our water filter. Now, a water filter is not necessary if I have the ability to make fire, because I can boil water with my kitchen, right? But it's not about making it hard. It's about using the modern conveniences that I have to make it an easy trip and easy on me. And the one that I've used the most over the years and decades is my original Pure hand pump. This is really a nice pump. Pure no longer exists making these. They were bought out by Katadyn water filters. And that's what I have here, which is a little bit different. You can still buy this particular model. It just has a different name brand on it. But this is another one I wanted to show you. They call it a base camp Katadyn water filter, and it's basically this water filter inside of this bag. It's the same filter in here. So you go down to the lake or the river, you scoop it up, you hang this in a tree, and this there's a hose in there, and it drips into your water container or bottle. It's pretty nice for a base camp, or if you even not for a base camp, even if you're moving quick, you can use it if you have multiple guys. It's just a lot easier and a lot less time consuming than taking the pump. But since I'm doing this kind of on my own and I'm only going to need my water needs, I'm going to take Old Faithful here with me. This weighs 1 pound. This weighs 13 ounces. So if you take your base camp, if you find that to be easier, you'll save yourself 3 ounces. And believe me, every ounce counts. Next on the list is rain gear. I have 2 choices in rain gear. I can take a Gore-Tex bodysuit. Now this only weighs about 1 pound. And I have a 10-ounce poncho. Smaller as well in volume and space. For this particular trip, I'm going to take the heavier one because I'm moving around a lot. If the poncho, if I'm just sitting, if I'm hunting or something like that, or fishing, the poncho is fine. But a full bodysuit is nice, especially if you're going through brush and that knee-high grass, things like that. You'll run into a lot of that in the boundary waters when you're on trails, or if you're just exploring in the backwoods. It's nice to have the pants to cover your clothes. Okay, let's talk stoves for a minute. Instead of having to search around for scraps of wood and worrying about whether everything is wet if it rains or snows, and especially up in the boundary waters where everything seems damp all the time. Stoves are a huge luxury. Man, they're nice. And today you have so many choices. So I'm going to take one on this trip. In fact, I'll take a stove almost on every trip I go on. Almost on every trip. It just makes life that much easier. And there's so many choices out there in lightweight gear that it doesn't make sense unless you want to beat yourself up and do it the hard way not to take a stove. Now I have a couple examples here of some very popular lightweight stoves for hikers. And these would be great on a day hike, you know, maybe a few days if your temperature is good, because alcohol is greatly affected by cold weather, let me tell you. And I usually take one of these with me just in case. But you know what? This is not that good. If I'm on a play hike, if I'm only going out for a couple days maybe, you know, and I'm not that worried about the weather, then I will take these. I have to mention Mini Bowl design too. This is a white box stove, and this is a Vargo. I better mention Mini Bowl because he's like a superhero here with the kids. You can also make your own alcohol stove. They're pretty easy to make. There's 1,000 videos on there. I like these two. These are my two favorite stoves. I like this Vargo Triad. It's made of titanium. You can fold it down and put it into the space shuttle and no one will notice. And then you have the white box stove, which is probably one of the oldest stoves out there. Very efficient for boiling big pots of water. Cool stoves, but not good enough for me. Now this is a stove. That's not a stove. This is a stove. This is a great stove. This is a stove, I don't care what the temperature is, it's going to work for you. I don't care what the environment is, it's going to work for you. It's going to work quick. And I'm not one of those guys, I got to tell you, there's an obsessive world out there in lightweight camping, let me tell you. If you guys aren't aware of it, if you're not familiar with it, man, you will be blown away. There are people that will spend hours and novels arguing over one stove that has 20 seconds quicker burn time in their opinion than the other one. Or another stove that will bring boiling water to a boil, or it will boil water, 15 seconds faster than that one. And you're a jerk for taking the one that doesn't boil faster. I'm going to tell you, I'm one of those guys, I really don't give a flying piece of monkey poop which stove boils water 15 seconds or 30 seconds faster than the other. I do worry about fuel consumption on the alcohol stoves. But if I'm going to do anything serious, any kind of hiking or long-term trip, I'm going to take my Dragonfly MSR, where I know I can absolutely count on this stove at all times. No matter what the temp, no matter what it's like out. I don't care if it's frickin' pouring rain. I can get this stove going. Time. This is like trying to make coffee from a trapeze this morning. Sorry about all the camera work here, guys. That's what it's all about. A cup of joe.